Hello, my fellow gore horror besties. So today we're going to be talking about a wild story. So I want to give, again, viewer discretion is advised. If you have a weak stomach or you don't want your Christmas to be ruined, let me just strongly advise that you just don't watch this podcast today and skip the episode because your mental health is more important than watching a podcast. So in this episode of Gore Horror, we're going to dive deep into a horrifying event that happened in 2008 called the Covina Massacre. So on Christmas Eve, Bruce Pardo, he was consumed by rage and bitterness after a really messy divorce. He arrived at his ex-wife's family Christmas party dressed as Santa Claus, which is why he's called the Santa Claus Killer, because he showed up to massacre this family that had just so much rage over just divorcing the daughter of this family. So he came dressed as Santa Claus and unleashed a deadly attack where he came armed with multiple weapons and a sinister plan to just kill everybody and then start a fire. So he claimed 9 lives before he took his own life. So Bruce Jeffrey Pardo, he was 45 years old, wearing the Santa suit. He entered the property belonging to his former in-laws in Covina and killed 9 people by shooting and then started a fire. Pardo was later found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound at his brother's house. So that was the early hours of Christmas Day. So police speculated that Pardo's divorce, which had been finalized only 1 week before the killings, was the factor in why Pardo had decided to kill his ex-wife and her relatives. But since he killed himself, there's no way to determine what the actual motive was, but they can speculate that it has something to do with the divorce. Since it was a bitter divorce, he was upset about it, so he's just going to take out his ex-wife and her family out of just rage and emotions. So at 11:30 p.m. on Christmas Eve, Bruce Pardo, dressed in a Santa suit, he had rented a car, went to the in-laws. He had a 9mm, a Sig Sauer handgun, and a large gift-wrapped package containing a rolled air compressor converted to a spray racing fuel. When he knocked on the door, his 8-year-old niece answered the door. And when she answered the door, she had no idea. She was so excited. She was like, "It's Santa. Santa's here. Like, I knew Santa was coming." And then he shot her in the face. And then he started just firing like crazy all over the house while they were fleeing. So I want to play this video. It's a little bit of a different video, but it is just the horrifying 911 call, and it is just so sad. So we're going to play this video and then be right back to discuss all of it.
The chilling call to 911 reveals the Christmas Eve terror inside this Southern California home. The caller identifies herself as Letitia and says the gunman is her ex-brother-in-law, Bruce Pardo.
When he shot, I heard the shots and they were like poppers, and I wasn't sure what it was, so everyone started panicking and running, so we all dove under the dining room. Some of us dove, some of us left, I don't know.
Letitia and her wounded 8-year-old daughter fled to a neighbor's home and called for help.
My daughter's been shot. She was shot in the face on the side and she's bleeding.
I let the officers know. The officers are making sure it's safe for the paramedics.
I need a bandage, please.
Her daughter is one of 3 injured survivors.
Please come immediately. Immediately.
Just this afternoon, police named the 9 people believed killed. They include Pardo's ex-wife, her parents, her sister, her 2 brothers and their wives, and her nephew. The victims were so badly burned, they will have to be identified by dental records.
I don't know who else is alive.
I know, ma'am. Just stay on the phone with me, okay?
My whole family, there's 30 people, 25 people.
I know.
A family wiped out by one man with no history of violence, who police say planned his attack in meticulous detail.
Family was horrified, and I mean, that makes sense that they were. That is an awful situation to be in, and to start with your niece, that's horrible. That little girl is gonna be traumatized. So after he was done with the handguns and making sure that everybody was dead, he planned that he unwrapped a package containing the compressor and he just sprayed fuel around the interior of the home. Police believe that the fire was intended to be ignited with a flare, but when the fuel contacted the flame, there was just a big explosion. So between the gunfire and the flames, a total of 9 members were killed and 3 were injured. The little girl that was shot in the face survived the attack. She had non-life-threatening wounds, which is surprising because she was shot in the face, and I am so happy to hear that she did survive that attack, but I'm sure that she is traumatized for the rest of her life, which is completely understandable. So back into the Pardo. So again, he unwrapped the package, set everything on fire. One of the survivors made it to the neighbor's house where she called police, which is the clip that I did play for you so that you could hear that call. That was one of the family members that got out of the house. So Pardo had apparently planned a detailed escape. He rented multiple vehicles, parked one near the house of the ex-wife divorce attorney. Apparently, he was also going to target the divorce attorney and just wreak havoc on everybody. And so he had tons of supplies and a map of the southwest of Mexico. So he was going to flee. And Pardo had also made plans to visit friends in Iowa and purchased Christmas morning plane tickets from LA to Illinois. He was also carrying cash strapped to his body, so he was fully prepared. But, however, the explosion of fire left him with third-degree burns on his arms and his legs. After setting the home on fire, he changed out of the Santa suit and drove to his brother's house, where he was later found dead from self-inflicted gunshot wounds. They don't know really why he did that. It could have been that he was severely burned. They don't know. The Santa suit was found inside of his vehicle, though, but his brother was not present at the time of Pardo's death. So Pardo's rental car was parked 1 block from his Santa house, though, and so that's why, I mean, he wasn't present at the time, but he wasn't even at his house. He was 1 block from his brother's house. But again, it contained remnants of the Santa suit that was booby-trapped so that the Santa suit would trigger a fire and set off 200 rounds of ammunition. At Pardo's house, police had recovered the empty boxes for semi-automatic guns, 2 shotguns, and a container for high-octane gas. They also found what was described as virtual bomb-making factory in his home. Wild. So definitely this was premeditated murder, and he really thought it out well, and he put a lot of work into it just for him to end up committing suicide. So, in addition to 3 injured victims, 9 were deceased, including Sylvia Ortega Pardo, 43 years old, which is the ex-wife of Bruce Pardo. Alicia Ortega, she was 70 years old, and she was the mother-in-law. Joseph Ortega, he was the 79-year-old father-in-law. Charles Ortega was the brother-in-law. He was 50 years old. Sherry Lynn Ortega, she was 45-year-old sister-in-law. James Ortega, 52-year-old brother-in-law. Teresa Ortega, 52-year-old sister-in-law. Alicia Ortega Ortiz, 46-year-old sister-in-law. And Michael Ortiz, 17-year-old nephew. And again, that 8-year-old girl survived the horrible shooting of her face. So this Charles Ortega they were just all taken out, unfortunately, and they all lost their lives. And it is so tragic and so sad for that family. And my heart goes out to everyone that is a part of the Ortega family. It's such a tragedy, and it's so sad that just walk away from the divorce. Like, you don't have to kill an entire family out of spite. Police again suspect the motive was the attack related to marital problems. After the couple got married in January of 2006, their marriage quickly fell apart within the first year because Pardo refused to open up a joint bank account. So I don't understand why that's a big deal, but I guess to some people it is. Maybe he was spending a lot of money. She could monitor it. Who knows? Honestly, we'll never find out. Two people know and they're both deceased. And it is so unfortunate for Sylvia. I mean, she was the ex-wife and she lost her life for no reason at all, and so did her family. So he also expected that his wife would use her own finances to take care of herself and her own 3 children. He was not going to partake in any financial assistance, things like that. So there was some speculation that the divorce may also have caused Pardo to conceal a child from a previous relationship for which Pardo did not pay child or spousal support. So he was not a good guy at all. In 2008, the divorce court ordered Pardo to pay $17.85 a month in spousal support. During the divorce proceedings, Pardo confided to a friend that his wife was taking him to the cleaners. In July, Pardo, who had no criminal record or history of violence, he was fired from his job as an electrical engineer and at ITT Corporation, Electrical Systems Radar Systems. And it's a really long name, for billing false hours. So he was just lying at the job, which makes sense. If you're doing that, you deserve to be fired. You're stealing company time. So the divorce contract suspended the support payments due to financial hardship. However, as part of the divorce, he hired to pay his ex-wife $10,000, and she was permitted to keep her wedding ring and the family dog, as she should. Pardo complained to the court that Sylvia was living with her parents, not paying rent, and had spent lavishly on a luxury car, gambling to Las Vegas, meals at expensive restaurants, massages, golf lessons. And the divorce was finalized a week prior to the attack. But it's wild. Like, where does he think that he can have the audacity to even have an opinion? They were divorced. What she does after their divorce is not his problem. But I get it. Like, he was upset about having to pay her that kind of money. But, I mean, it's not her fault. The judge ordered it. It wasn't her family's fault either. And none of them deserved to live like that. So that is the case of the Covina massacre. It is tragic, it is sad, it's horrible, and there are just no words that someone will take all of these beautiful, precious lives just because he's bitter from a divorce. Like, move on, dude. Go find someone else. Like, it's not that. There's plenty of fish in the sea for you, sir. So that is it. Thank you for watching another episode of Gore Horror. I hope you stay tuned for the next episode. I might do another Christmas-themed episode for the next few ones. I apologize that I haven't put one out sooner. Life is just getting in the way. So again, I appreciate you all. I hope you stay safe out there and just be aware of your surroundings. Just be safe. And I will see you guys all again soon. Thank you so much.